Okay. Hi, everyone. It's June 3rd. We're doing our group training session. And this week we are going to talk about marketing. Now, since we only have 3 participants here in the line, we're going to try and make it a little more interactive. So let me ask you, Michelle, when do you think is a good time to market?
When do I think is a good time to market?
Yeah.
I feel like that's a trick question. I don't know. Maybe I should always be marketing. Should always be marketing, but I find like many times I think I'm like starting too late. Like I need to be thinking like months ahead. And right now I don't feel like I'm actually operating that way.
Okay. Well, marketing in general, the best time to market is probably about 10 years ago. And the second best time to start marketing is now. So you always want to market the way that I work in my business. If I'm not actively working on selling travel and I have a little bit of free time, let's say I enjoyed my little bit of free time, but right now I don't have anything that I'm working on because I just finished, I sent the quote, now's the time to market. And marketing is not just advertisement, right? We don't just post stuff or email blast or do some things just in order to sell a product. We're sometimes building content. So we're sending information for people, whether it's like a destination that we're selling a lot, or it's up and up. Instagram is really hot for that specific, when we have it for like an Iceland or specific destination. Curacao is really happening right now because there are a lot of resorts that opened and people are looking into. So you want to market your product, you want to market yourself, you want to include information that might be helpful to people, and you can do it in many ways. One of them would be social media. If you don't know where to start in terms of marketing, social media would be a best option to start. Facebook, Instagram, these are, they have millions and millions of people that are active, daily active. You, of course, need to understand who your target market is, but in general, if you post on social media and again, between Facebook and Instagram, you should be able to get in front of a lot of people. Now, when I say in front of a lot of people, you need to understand who you're posting and who you are marketing to, who's your audience, whether it's people in your area, people with a specific income, specific gender, specific economic level, making this point and that point, and you need to figure that out and either know who your clientele is or who your potential clientele could be. And that you can do some ads in Facebook, for example, to market to really specific clientele that you want to target. But it seems like the best way right now is to find Facebook groups and either opening your own Facebook group for your clients for a specific destination. Could be a local one as well that you are actively helping within that community, and then plugging your information. And it doesn't have to be, I'm selling a cruise for $5.99, I'm selling a package to Mexico for $10.99 or $1,000 per person. It's more of, this is what I bring to the table. This is the difference between me and an online supplier, the Expedias. When you reach out to Expedia, the person on the other line doesn't necessarily have the information or the knowledge, the personal knowledge, whether it's from sales or from, again, personal experience that you visited and traveled, right? Bill, you were traveling, you were in the DR, right? You sold and you were able to sell the specific destination, the specific resort that you have been to, right? Sanctuary, Cap Cana?
Yeah, I was when I did a trip down there, and I toured probably in what I do about 10 different site visits, and I really liked Sanctuary. I actually went back there with my wife, but I had the knowledge and the relationship with the sales manager too, which helped me, because when I sent my clients there, even though everything was booked up on what they wanted, I was able to get an upgrade for them. So, it really, the knowledge helped, and they were really happy.
Right. So one part of marketing is the fact that you personally are traveling or traveled before, or I've tried it for a little while. This is what I booked. This is where my upcoming clients are going. Some lucky couple is going to, and I post a video or a picture or something that looks really good. You either you make people want to look at your content, and video is really, really strong. People are watching so much videos, much better than looking at pictures, much rather than just the text. So if you can get some video content, I just posted something like 2 minutes before we started about a specific resort that I've personally been to, that I sell a lot. So I put a video on it, and I do have that personal information. I'm assuming that video will get some traction, and people will ask me about it. Annie, a question?
Yeah, I was just wondering, when you were talking about the videos and pictures, I've noticed from some of the agents that I know that they tend to do it after the trip. Like they'll get pictures from the clients, and they'll get some videos from the client. They'll be like, oh, look where my clients were on their honeymoon, or on this or on that. But are you saying that during the trip or before the trip is better?
I say you always need to market. So for example, I can give you my personal experience. When I traveled to Aruba, I post when I'm on a site inspection, I just take a really nice picture, hopefully, and I just say, this is where I'm at right now. And that's it. And I check in and I continue. When do I post the actual pictures? Later, when I have time. Could be like a week after. I'm still not done posting all the pictures, but you know what? I still post pictures from time to time, and people are still asking, are you still there? Like it makes them, the trip is much, much longer, right? Mine was only 3-night trip, but people tend to think, and remember that not everyone is going to see all of your posts.
Yeah.
So when you post more, it's more likely that they're going to see it. Now, I am heading to Europe in a couple of weeks. I posted a video. Okay, this is my first destination. Then this is my second. This is my third. Every time I'm going to post something about it. Later, I'm going to post on the ship, or maybe one of the excursions that I'm going to be. So I can lead into it where people, oh, that seems interesting. Let's follow him during the trip, or let's see what's going on. And then the information that you post specifically on social media, again, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, whatever you feel comfortable in, is there pretty much forever. So you can always refer clients back. I have people asking me, and then most of my posts are public. So I will tell them, go look me up on Facebook. It's really easy. It's Roy.Gal. Find me on Facebook. All of my posts are public. You want to follow me, you want to friend me, or even don't. You don't really need to, because they're all public. Just go and scroll down and you'll see all the information. You can create albums. You can either put them on your website or your Facebook page, or anywhere that you can put them in a Dropbox, like a cloud, and have all the pictures there. Whatever you want, just make sure that it is accessible. I can show you, I have like a huge content of pictures and videos from all of my trips. It's year by year destinations, and they're all in there. So if someone comes to me and says, oh, we're looking at this specific property, I can take one of my own pictures, and they're not perfect, but they are, because they're mine. The big difference is I have been there. This is my picture. This is not a stock picture. This is not what they took with computer rendering and made some changes. This is my personal picture when I was there. Gives you credibility. So marketing helps establish who you are. I get so many requests from social media, people saying, we want to book with you because we see that you are traveling. You're not just talking about selling. You're actually, people see it as you travel a lot as being successful, or, it just depends on, again, your clientele. But I can tell you that preparing for a trip, I am always posting about my next trip, my last trip, my, memories of a trip. If something comes up really nice on a promotion, I'll put one of my pictures, one of my videos, and just continue in marketing. And I think the key, whatever I do in marketing, I go based on, if I have an idea, I just go ahead and do it. I will sometimes in the middle of the night have an idea of what I need to do. If I need to add something to the website, if I need to post something, if I need to create some sort of a content, I write it down. The next day I will try and implement it. Yes, Bill, you're on mute.
So when you're marketing publicly, and you get an inquiry, obviously somebody you don't know, can you talk a little bit about how you sort of go through the vetting process to ensure that it's not, that it's a legit, opportunity and things like that? Or is it the same process that you go through if you get a contact from somebody
if you don't do paid advertisement, the people that find you, even if your posts are public, they're still part of your circle. They still know someone who knew someone. They still get to you from someone who recommended, unless you're doing paid ads. When you're doing paid ads, the process of qualifying the client would be a lot different, because these are people just found you off the internet. But we are talking about posting to your community and their friends, people who interact with your post, and their friends will see it. So there is that connection. And for the most
6 degrees of separation kind of thing,
yes,
here at some point. Okay.
Yeah. So if it is close, if it is something, again, organically from the people around you, the sale should be a lot quicker, a lot faster. It should be, again, serious. I don't treat people that found me on the internet in a non-paid ad differently, unless they're repeat clients.
Okay.
Annie?
Do you do a lot of paid ads?
I don't do any. Not at all.
You don't do any?
No.
Okay, because I've considered it, and I've been on the.
I am now doing paid ads on specific things, for a booking engine that sells cruises. But it's not under the Memories Forever umbrella, but in general, that is a price-driven crowd only. So all they care about is specifically the TPI Advantage group rates, the signature rates. We are selling price, only price. And there's almost no human interaction. It's a link to a booking engine and they go and book. So it's not something that I would highly recommend for you, because I'm also operating on a different brand, because the travel professional brand is more of, customized service, concierge, and not an online booking tool. So I believe for travel agents in general, there's not much of a point to do paid ads unless you have a you can get co-op. So for example, I've just seen all four of us are from TPI. So I've just seen Chris from Norwegian offer $500 in co-op money to promote groups. And they're going to do 100% co-op. So I am most likely going to use it. And in order for us to get the money, we actually need to spend the money. So what I will probably do is go and research some groups group dates for Norwegian Cruise Lines that I know I can sell, because these are the times of, I might take some new group space or promote an existing one and do paid ads. But that's because I know I'm going to get 100% back from them. All I need is just to show expense, right? If you can get 50% and up, yes, it makes sense to do some ads. But let's say don't go overboard. Don't spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars unless you can see a return.
Okay.
And at the beginning, right now, I don't think it's needed.
No.
But again, you guys were being offered, 100%, so it's free. So definitely you would do it. So in addition to marketing, Michelle, is that a question or just a?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no question.
So marketing, besides, posting, another option to do marketing is the email blasts. Now with TPI, you have Emma, Monarch. So Monarch is, if you are aware of it or not, it's similar to Constant Contact. It's an HTML format of an ad or some sort that you can customize and send to your database. First of all, you need to have a database. It needs to be in an Excel spreadsheet. That's something that you can build on your own if you have a way to export it from your CRM, if you have a CRM. If not, and let's say you have 100 clients, 200 clients, put them in an Excel spreadsheet, separate name, last name, email. That's the basic information. That's all you need. If you have more information, phone numbers, addresses, great. If not, first name, last name, email. That's all you need. And then you can create an audience. You can create certain groups, people who like cruises, people who like all-inclusive, people that I got from my golf club, ski club, music, PTA, PTO, whatever you have an idea. If you can break down your database, that would be a lot better than just throwing everything to everyone.
Okay.
If you have someone who you talk to and they on your qualification form or something that you're asking them, do you have a destination in mind or any future trips, and they mention Japan, you write it down and then you create a Japan list. Even if there's only one person in that list, it will be Japan list. He can be Japan. He can be in cruises as well. And he can be in your PTA and in your golf group. It doesn't matter. They can be in multiple groups. The thing is, when you send out an email for Ireland and you have 5 people in that Ireland group, they're going to get it. They're going to know, oh, when we talked, we mentioned Ireland, Japan, Iceland, Bahamas. They're listening. This is a targeted marketing for me, right? I didn't just get it. I don't need to get, I don't know, China, right? China does not interest me. I'm not going to send an amazing trip to China to my database. It's just, they're going to look at it and they're going to think it's spam because he sends it to thousands of people. Doesn't make any sense.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So the more focused, the more targeted the information that you have, that you send out, the better the open rate is, and then the click rate as well. And if you send it on Monarch, you can see what's the percentage of people who opened it and how many people actually clicked on the link if you did add a link. And the Monarch, again, is customizable. You can add your logo, your contact information, direct them to a website, to a form, to something, even if it's click here if you're interested, just so you'll know that they clicked on it.
Okay.
Are you guys using Monarch? Have you looked at it before? Michelle?
I currently use Flowdesk. So
Okay.
I haven't been using Monarch.
Okay. Again, I don't know what Flowdesk is, but I'm assuming it's similar. The
Yeah,
big
it's similar.
advantage, are you paying for it or it's?
I am.
You are, okay.
I am at a pretty. It's a low price, but
Okay.
I know Monarch is
Not lower than free,
free.
right? Yeah, right.
Free, yeah, it's not as good as free, which comes along with my TPI membership.
Right. So you get to use, you can use it. It's free. There, in addition to that being free, even if you're not using it, they have content. They create content. They create the ads. So even if you don't want to use that and you want to use the other company that take what they've created, copy it, put it in your Constant Contact or Flow and send it out from there. No problem. But they also
Is there a good tutorial about that? Because I've tried like a couple of times and I've never really seen like any of the content that's prepared. I mean, I did see what went out for Memorial Day that they like pushed out to us, but when I've logged in and like looked at Monarch, I've never been able to pull up what's prepared.
Most of it is cruises, but it's not all cruises, and you can always take what they have and just customize it. And
I just could never see what was in there. I guess that was my problem. Like I could never, when I went in, maybe I just did something wrong, but if anybody knows of a tutorial or something there that I can watch, then I'll try that.
If I'm
So
in.
Yeah. And you don't have to look at it now. It's just that was always my problem because I could never see it.
This is Monarch, right? You can see it, or can you see it or no?
Yeah, I can see your screen. Yes.
So I think campaign. So these are things that I sent. So it's not scheduled, automated, share.
Oh, those are yours. They're not like
Yeah,
from TPI?
the scheduled or the draft is something that I created, but these are shared, right? So the shared are Disney Cruise Line, Hilton.
Oh, okay.
Memorial.
See, that never even came up for me. So
I don't know.
I'll go back and check.
Yeah, I guess it also depends on, but when you click on it, it's really easy because I have a few, saved. It looks like it changed a little bit. It changed a little bit, but let's say I'm adding a picture here to the top. Okay. And then I have, so this is my logo. So I added my logo here. It's pretty, you see how easy it is? And then everything is already here. So my name and all of it will just populate on itself. And if you want to add something, a button, a divider, another video, an HTML, just a text box, whatever you want to write down here and add information or create some sort of a button or add your social media, click here, something. And then it's just very, very simple. You could do a preview of how it looks. You can send a test, and it will come to your email and you can try it out. It really doesn't take long. And then I think all you need to do is just choose the recipients, which is, the groups that you created. You just click on them and that's it.
If they don't have the area that you were saying, a lot of them are cruises, but could you superimpose pictures from other areas and just kind of use the layout?
Yeah, exactly. So just
Okay.
upload all the pictures, links to whatever,
Okay.
Cancun or all inclusives, whatever, and just use find a template that works for you and then just change it. And then you can
Okay.
work on that template all the time. And the default template with my logo on the top and my contact information is always, so we just added, I have all the pictures and that's it. And some of them, again, with content that you're sending out, you could send, I was in Aruba, I sent a few pictures and a video or something, and I sent a recipe for Aruba Aribe, which is like a drink, right? It's not, I didn't promote anything. I didn't sell anything. I didn't write any prices, nothing. I sent out an email when I was there, greetings or, Memorial Day, whatever, in Aruba, whatever that was, with a cocktail for your barbecue, like a recipe. And
Yeah.
that's it. I was at the Hilton, which is the founding place of that specific. And I took a picture of the bar, the person who actually invented that drink. And they have like a picture of the guy who was a taxi driver, and he invented it on a piece of paper, and they have like the original script, whatever. So I took that, I put it in, wrote a few words and sent it out. It doesn't really matter. Some of the marketing is, again, the content and what it's called touching the client, right? You're going to send them something, they're going to look at it, they're going to remember you, and then they're going to call you for something completely different than what you sent them. So it doesn't really matter, right? Don't invest too much time in creating a package for specific people, because 99% of the time they will not call you for that specific thing, right? They can't really go October 1st because it's a really good deal. They have other obligations, other plans, but it doesn't matter. They saw that you send them a really nice proposal for Aruba or a really nice piece on Curacao, and they're going to come to you and ask for an Italy trip. Doesn't matter, right? They just know that you are a travel professional, you are sending them content, and they'll know to reach you when they need to go.
It's just repetition of establishing your credibility as a professional, knowledgeable, that you're out there, like you said, you're traveling and you have firsthand knowledge.
Exactly. And some of it, even if you're not traveling, and I tried it out for a little bit just as a test for our training. This is where my, lucky couple, a lucky family just booked this, and I post a video and I post pictures. There's also options for Branch Up. I don't know if you know what Branch Up is.
Yes, it's awesome.
Yeah, Branch Up. It's a little intense because they'll post maybe 5 to 7 times a day sometimes. So you need to go in there and maybe in the future, like delete some of the future ones that are about to come. But it technically creates content and makes your business Facebook page look alive. Does it get me business? Not really. No. I think it's a little too massive. They post so much stuff. I sometimes will go in and just delete some of them because they post a little too much and I'm not getting too much traction on my business page. But that's also a problem with Facebook, right? Facebook wants you to pay for ads to actually get people to watch your content. So that's why I'm posting a lot of the stuff on my personal page. But again, my personal page is used 99% of the time for business purposes. Right? There's not a lot of happy birthday to my kids or my wife or happy anniversary. I just don't do that. My private life on Facebook is within Facebook groups, but my wall outside is almost 100% business, unless I want to get some likes on my kids' Broadway performance or something. So I post it, but in general, not really. Yes, Annie.
That's such a great thing that you brought up, because I have been wondering, I have 2 Facebook accounts right now. I have my personal one, and then I have the one that I've created for Memories Forever. And so you're saying the one that my personal one, should I also keep it very private?
I mean, it's up to you. Again, I just don't use Facebook in general outside, like the wall. I don't post a lot of personal stuff or at all. I use Facebook for business purposes. That's it. And again, within groups, specific groups, or when I message people or messenger, it's me, right? It's personal. But you can go and look on my wall. There's nothing really personal there. You know, we foster dogs, so sometimes we'll put a post on the dog. But 99% is travel. But I travel quite a bit, and that's it. Sometimes it's prices. Most of the time it's not. It's just a nice video, some pictures.
But you would keep it on the lowdown, and
the goal, not lowdown. I post a lot, but
no. I'm saying about like personal stuff.
Yeah.
Like kind of keep it on stuff that like issue wise. Like I'm very passionate about certain things.
No politics, no nothing, zero,
nothing
never ever.
That.
Nope, never ever. My clients are Republican, they're Democrats, they're whatever. Yeah. I just no one should know where I'm going. Gun control, pro-life, nothing, zero, never ever. If you want to look, this is a business. There's no room for any of your personal opinions in the business.
Even in the private page.
There's no private page for me. Right?
No, for me.
I'm just saying in general, look, if you want to ever sell travel to these people, there's some people who are, very pro guns or pro whatever and decide this, and you're feeling like the other side. It's going to create some sort of a conflict that I'm just not interested in. I am interested in selling to anyone. I don't want anything. Your political or whatever you feel about anything doesn't matter to me. I will sell to you, right? It doesn't really matter to me what your personal beliefs are. So I don't feel like I need to share mine as well. Right? Even in groups, in whatever, whenever I post something, remember that the whatever you posted is forever on online. I just don't. Doesn't matter. Even in groups, I will always be in the middle. Like I never take any sides. Whatever, if I have personal, I could talk to my wife or friends when we meet up. But besides that, no, because again, it doesn't, you don't need it for business.
I'm pro travel
for me because
pro vacations.
As a Christian, there's certain things that I believe in evangelizing. And so on my personal page, a lot of times I put evangelize because it's like I feel like I'm called by God to do that. So it's so it just kind of puts me in this place like, okay, business wise is not the right thing, but God wise, I feel I'm called to do that as well.
For my business or the way my mentality, I'm in an all-in approach. So for me, for business, this is what you can be whoever you want to be, in life or, a church or with your community, but here specifically on social media and out there, I take no sides. You won't see anything from me about something like that might be contributed as offensive to another person, because I want to be able to assist everyone, no matter what I will unfriend some people when I see so much stuff, or unfollow people that are posting stuff that kind of really, really irritates me, but I will not
be an irritating person.
No, it's mostly again during vaccines and people that have become specialists, and now everyone is specialist with international what was it when Ukraine, and so yeah, I just, again, I don't take sides.
I
Michelle?
completely understand. I think with me, it's just what I'm telling you. It's conflict of interest. So it's a conflict of interest in my heart because I feel, how can I say? I feel my higher power is telling me that I should use social media when I can, not in my private page. Like, and I don't put tons of stuff. Like maybe I'll put like a song that really did something for me, or I'm not like one of these. Which is fine if you are, but I'm not like one of these like huge evangelists, like every day posting stuff throughout the day. Like, but every
I
once.
mean, again, my decision was to completely not post anything that is personal, but it is your, choice, whatever if sometimes some of these things might, people might not want to work with you because of this. And again, I don't want it to affect it. Again, that's my all-in approach.
Okay, I get it.
I had a question about like the types of information you share. So you mentioned like kind of just sharing like some photos from your travels, like even while you're on the trip or something, I don't know, pleasant memory, right, that you have. What about when you're sharing like anything about, I'm calling them, whether they're like travel deals or things like that you want to share out within your community? Are you letting them know like which cruise line? Are you giving them like all that information?
And they'll look it up.
Specifically right
You know
now,
what I mean? If is it oh, like Royal Caribbean, like this is the current promotion.
right. Again, I don't post too many deals, but let's say the few that I
Okay.
sold, for example, I had specific prices on the TPI Advantage group. So even if I posted, no one can go and book on their own in general. Even if, let's say, it is a published price and it's a last minute price that technically they can go and buy it on their own. We will mostly have onboard credit or maybe specific things that are extra. But if it's not, because I'm focusing on price right now and what I can give them, because when I post prices, I'm price driven, right? I'm targeting people who are looking for the deals, for the cheap stuff. But in general, people, I think, already understand the value that I bring. I just booked something for two people, two cabins, Royal Caribbean, July 2nd from Adventure of the Seas, two cheap cruises, $1,800 per couple. They could have booked it online. I didn't give them anything special in terms of price, although I might have a group and they'll probably get onboard credit, but they didn't necessarily contact me for the price. Right, because we looked at Norwegian for 7 nights, and then we looked at Oasis, and then we looked at another options to Bermuda. So they needed someone to bounce some ideas, to ask, how is this ship? And I actually did not recommend the ship. I told them that they should take something else, but they decided they want that one, and it's up to them. And I sold it to them, right? But people call in. When you go to RoyalCaribbean.com and you book something, the system only gives you answers to what you ask, right? You put dates, they'll give options. You want balcony, they'll give balcony. The difference when you're talking to a travel professional, you ask questions back. Like, are you okay with the fact that this ship is 15 years old? Are you okay with the fact that these are only, these rooms are not going to be one next to each other? This is a guaranteed room. You will most likely be in different cabins. I can see that only the 8 p.m. dining is available. There's certain things that you can see. Are you aware that this resort is an hour and a half from the hotel, from the airport, right? When you book it online, Newark to Jamaica, and you put a hotel in Negril, it doesn't really tell you that it's an hour and a half from the airport, right? You don't know. So all of these things, they will ask you a question. Do you need insurance? How much is insurance going to cost me? Do you need this? There's a lot of information that you can ask back, and that's the key. When they understand it, they will reach out to you with questions. You don't need to be afraid of letting them know who you're booking with, right? Or who the cruise is, or what kind of destination. I see some people like hiding stuff. This is, you know, like a secret hotel, right? For $9.99. Call me for more information. It doesn't necessarily.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about that because, you know, it's, to me, that seems like just a little cagey. Like I would wonder, well, why aren't they putting the information if they've posted it? And then at the same time, I think sometimes I've given maybe too much, and then I'm like, oh, I've given them enough that they could just book it themselves, and just trying to find kind of that middle ground, and also not, I'm trying not to be like posting things that's where I have them just focused only on price, because, you know, the value that I add is not really about the price per se. It's all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Right. But also, you know, people sometimes people are like, oh, when there's a good deal, can you let us know? Like I'm seeing so many things out there. It's not really realistic for me, but I tell them you can follow me on Facebook. And from time to time, if I see something, you know, if I'm looking for something and for like Christmas and I find something really good, I'll post it and I'll say, you know, my clients, I just booked this for, you know, for a family. If you're interested, this is what I have. So sometimes I do send out prices. That specific one that I posted on Royal, I didn't even get a like, except for I think my mom, but I sold the 7 cabins in about an hour and a half. So people didn't necessarily click on it or something, but they messaged and they saw it. And this is, I guess, what they were looking for. And again, I'm telling you, an hour and a half, it was sold. It was a $900 cruise during, like, it was just cheap, like dirt cheap.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't matter, because sometimes, again, it's not just the interaction. When I post something, I know it's really good. So if you have more like a broad audience and more people see it because I post it as public, it kind of gets to places, which is nice.
So how far in advance are you posting? So for example, like I haven't started with cruises yet. A couple times when I have sent things out to my subscriber list, and part of it, I don't really know what my subscribers are interested in. So that's one of my next projects. But when I send it out to them, it's usually for something like, you know, like a book now, you know, because it's like, oh, this deal ends in like 2 days. So book now and you can travel later. Should I be putting stuff out for them to travel for next year? Like at this point, especially for cruises.
Well, if you're looking at cruises, we are now looking at 2024. So if you're looking at,
oh wow, okay.
I mean, cruises, I started grabbing lots of space and adjusting stuff for 2024. Christmas of 2023, I looked at options, and there's some good options for Christmas of 2022.
So when you said like grabbing space, so you're reserving for the space future already?
Exactly. So right now is the time to book to book your clients for Christmas, but now is the time for you to hold the group space for your clients. Because right now, the way that when cruises group space works is the group price is the price today for that specific sailing. The closer you get, the higher the prices become, and now's the difference. Now you can promote, you know, the price is $1,500 for next Christmas. It's a decent price, but people don't get the value when the price starts going up, and the price per person is going to be $3,000, and you're holding a $1,580. They get the value.
You know,
are you doing this through?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Michelle, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just asking,
Yeah,
are
my
you doing
question
this
was
through,
just what he
um,
said that
no, you go.
show. It's fine. Just go ahead. I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
Now, do you do this through like TPI for when you're taking out like this space, or are you booking into TPI space, or are you like taking out your own?
I'm also taking my own space.
Oh, your own. Okay. And that you have to
You're taking-
pay for.
Depends. Now,
Well, I mean, for someone like me who's just starting out, that
you don't need
doesn't.
to. In NCL, Royal, Celebrity, up to 16 cabins per group, you don't need to pay.
Oh,
Okay.
If with some others, you need to put a deposit. If it's a larger group, then it's 16. Then it's normally $50 deposits, 50 per cabin, and a refundable deposit.
Mm.
So, and I mean, you can take as many 16 cabin groups. You can even take multiple 16 cabin groups for a specific sailing, right? There's no really
okay.
restriction.
Oh, okay.
But,
Did not know that. Thank you.
but there
Sorry,
are
go
a
ahead,
lot
Amy.
there are a lot of TPI and signature groups already out there.
That's good to know for sure.
Yeah.
No, my was just that I've noticed that sometimes the group prices are a lot higher than the ones that the cruise is offering like last minute. Or am I reading it wrong? Because that's what I've noticed.
It depends on what you mean by last minute. You have to understand the concept of a cruise, right? The people who book in advance and the people who look for last minute cruises.
Mhm.
I'm in the New York, New Jersey market. We don't have people waiting by the port to get on the ship, right? Although we have cruises from the New York area, but in general, these are not last minute bookers in general. They'll need to fly somewhere in order to get on a cruise for the most part. Now you're in the Fort Lauderdale cruise central, right? So you have more people that can do last minute, but not everyone can do last minute. If you're marketing to families with kids, when the kids need to be off from school, if you need cabins for 3, 4, 5, these are not existing. If you are okay with getting guaranteed cabins, no matter where the location is, it's just 2 people, they're looking for the cheapest, whatever best deal out there. Yeah, that's last minute. It's fine. They don't care. But if, again, it's a family, they're looking for the cabins to be one next to each other. They need a connecting cabin. They want it in a specific area. They want a specific date. That's where groups come in. That's where the advanced purchase comes in. And with a lot of cases, the difference is really high, very, very high. Like the difference can be hundreds and thousands of dollars difference.
Oh, wow.
But remember that group space is released about 3-4 months prior to. So people still need to book. If you lose the space and you're booking 120 days to sailing, then the advantage of the group price just disappears.
Okay.
Okay. You can still book within the 120 days in FIT and move them into groups. And then you can still get the group amenity, which is normally $50, $75 onboard credit. But that's nothing, right? It's a nice thing to have, save you the gift to give to the client if you feel like you need to. But in general, the group pricing, the price advantage is the key. And I always maintain the groups. So, and I'll show you what I mean.
Because you have your own group. It's not like Royal Caribbean groups.
I mean, they are, but in general, I don't know if can you see the?
When
So I send it to, I need to update because the price went down. and this is April of 2023, but we also see April 23rd. So I just sent them, can you update the price? The price went down.
Oh, okay, I get
and-
that.
And this one, look at the price on this one. Price went down a little bit from 3,071 to 1,006. So I
Wow.
sent them to update the price. And here too, that this is October of 2023. So I go over and we update all the groups. We just send them out to them to just update. And they update, they send the update. Sometimes I will update them myself, depending on the groups. But we maintain it by going and checking all the time of the group space that is available. But groups for cruises, you're planting a seed for the future, right? Because the space that I'm taking right now for 2024 will make sense around maybe March of 2023, right? Or later.
Because here it just
So-
doesn't work like that.
It does. It still does. Again, depending, you have to understand who you are marketing to. If you have if people they want the specific sailing because this is when the schools are off.
Okay.
They want they need a connecting cabin. They need a cabin for 5. They need a suite. They need something that they will need to book it in advance. It's not going to wait for them. The sailings are going to be full. I had a client reach out to me. They wanted a cabin for 5 for August for a specific sailing, and it's sold out. There is nothing. There's no more cabins for 5 on Norwegian. So they either have to change the date or go somewhere or pick a different line or pay for 2 cabins. It's just not available.
Yeah, it's for those people that, which is a lot of percentage of the people. It's not for like I'll be honest, my husband and me and the kids were like, oh, let's go on a cruise this weekend,
But you're flexible with the line, you're flexible
Yeah.
with the dates, this is over the summer, let's say, or it's fine, or you have little kids that they're not in school, it doesn't really matter, but not everyone is flexible. So you have to understand the who, right? You
Yeah.
have to understand the who you are marketing to, who is your target market. Now, am I still offering last minute stuff? Yeah, I can. I post them from time to time, but not always. That's not my goal because it's also cheap, right? We want the higher ones.
Makes total.
So again, when you're marketing and you're thinking who you want to market to, and besides just posting prices and things out there, you want to get them to think, right? You see a lot of posts on Facebook on, travel agent is on your side. If something happens, we are your insurance. We're your coach in the ring, right? If something happens, you can always relate to us. If someone comes to you, if you call Royal, right, and you tell them, I want to cruise to Bermuda from New York around July 2nd. Well, they'll tell you, look, there's a newer ship with Norwegian the day before. It's 7 nights and it's cheaper. No.
Oh, yeah?
Right? Will they?
Oh,
If
no.
you call Royal,
Yeah.
will they tell
I
you?
was like, oh,
No. They sell their
Of
own
course.
product. Number one, right? Who they're taking care of.
Right.
Their bottom line, they care about the clients, yes, but they're not going to tell them, look, there's a better option. Or do you want to compare that with an all-inclusive? Or, there's a lot of things. Again, you call United or you go on united.com to look for stuff. They're not going to tell you Delta is there or Southwest is. So people need to understand that you're a third party, you're non-biased. Your number one is to take care of the client. People need to understand it. You need to make sure that they understand it. So when they reach out to you, you can give them options, right? And it doesn't necessarily have to be the cruise line that you like or that you like to sell. Right? I did a practice run with another agent, and I didn't really tell her what I wanted, but I really pushed for a specific cruise line, and I did not get it because that agent doesn't like that specific cruise line. right?
Mm.
And I did get another email from another, I'm not sure, was it, I'm not sure, was it Annie from you? Did you mention? No, I think it was another agent that said that seemed too expensive. Was that you? You sent me an email. Was that like too expensive for?
It was the one for the Prima Norwegian that I was like,
No. I have someone. No, I think it's another agent, and she's working on a Disneyland and LA combined, and she sent the quote. The client wanted Disneyland, right? He wanted to stay on property, so she sent him Disneyland, but she also sent him other things that are off-site. Why? Because it seemed too expensive to her, right? But the client wants on-site. Maybe they're willing to pay for it, right? So we don't need to be afraid of, pricing, right? It depends, of course, on the target, and who you're marketing to. So don't be, if you personally are the one who can get on a cruise tomorrow because you're flexible, that doesn't mean your other clients can do the same.
It's true.
Right?
I was wondering, because I've been using Travel Joy, and there's a form that tells you, that asks them separate questions, like what kind of travel they like if it's luxury, is it standard, is it budget? And it also has a part where like for them to put their budget range, like X out their budget range. What is your opinion on that? Like, should we be asking clients like, what is your budget range? Or we should present from hearing what they want, like getting information of what they're saying. I want, like that year, the last one you sent me about Italy, they're telling me we want an Instagram worthy trip. They didn't tell me a budget, but they're like, we want it to be fabulous. We want it to be. So I'm thinking in my mind, they must have an idea of how much that would cost. But I wasn't exact on budget. Did I do wrong? Did I do good?
That's interesting because I mean, I don't know. Like I found that sometimes people don't really know.
Yes.
Like they don't know what things cost. And so I ran into that earlier this week. And when the person said I don't really have a budget. And then I said, oh, so if I said this trip would cost you $7,000, I said, would that work for you? And then they're like, no, that's too much. So then all of a sudden I got them to give me a number that like a range that they felt comfortable with.
Okay.
Like that's what I just did recently. But before I didn't know. And I was just sending stuff, I want to say maybe aimlessly.
I will always ask for a range. Like, do you have a budget in mind? Or some people don't know. Some people will just go out and say, my budget is $8,000. We don't want to go over $8,000, $10,000, whatever. They have a budget.
Okay.
If they don't, some people will say, we don't want something basic, but we want like a 4-star, above normal, above average, I think they called it, or something. But also you can always ask, have you done this sort of a trip before? Have you been to an all-inclusive before? Where have you been? Have you cruised before? Where have you cruised? What company? Do you remember the ship? Was it an inside room, a balcony? When you went to London last time, it's just, you have to ask them about where they've been before to kind of give you an idea. And I think based on that, you will know, right? If they went to Crown Paradise in Cancun, you're not going to offer them Grand Villas. And if they went to Nitsuk or they went to Fairmont, Mayakoba, you're not going to send them Holiday Inn, right? So it's just, you kind of try to get the information of where they stayed before. That should give you an idea, comparable. I always, when you have a CRM, I always look back at where they stayed before, how much they paid, when did they book, because I know it's going to come up, if they booked like 4 months in advance or 6 months in advance or 2 weeks in advance. It just depends. But I always go back and see how much they paid. One thing a trick where you can get a little more information from it, but it depends if you're gathering the information. If you ask for the address and you put it on your form and you collect their where they live, you can put that address on Zillow and see how much their house is worth.
Yes, you can.
Oh, I never thought about that.
If the
I like
house is
that.
worth 300 or 3 million, that should tell you a little bit something about their budget.
That's
Um,
down. That is good.
so I
Oh,
use
that's
it.
a really good one.
Sometimes sometimes I made them. I had one client that they had a really great budget and they ended up spending like $11,000. And then I put the credit card and I took the information. I said, I normally do it before, but let's do it, because I thought, I'm going to see a really nice house. And then I saw like, ooh, I'm glad I didn't look at it before because I would get like a different assumption so it doesn't always work, but it's for the most part, it kind of gives me an idea of, again, some people travel only every 5 years, every 4 years. So they spend a little bit more. And right
Sure.
now, because of COVID, people tend to spend a little bit more because they haven't traveled in a while. But for me, it's a good trick and it works pretty well.
I like that you gave me all those, that you gave us all those ideas, because I'm always so, I guess I'm nervous of how to approach the budget thing, but I like the navigating different ways to figure it out. Instead
some
of being
people just some people don't want to give you a budget because they're afraid that if they'll give you an amount that you're not going to give them something like cheaper or like, 5,000. But if you find something for 2,000, look, if I'm going to find something as I had someone in a $8,000 budget, I also included something for $6,000 because I thought it's a really good deal. It was a good price for that specific option. So again, it's just also it's part of, the communication at the beginning. But again, if they're not willing to share or, you're the traveler, you should know how much. I don't know how much things cost. I get that sometimes. So it's fine. But I still need more information, like where you've been before, where you stayed, where something, right?
Okay.
But the Instagram worthy, the stuff like that, that's part of the marketing. People always want to see that. I can show it's something that I wanted to post is, I took a picture of my room from my room. I stayed at the Rio Palace Antilles for my fam, and I was right in front of the construction. So if you look outside, like dead on, you see like huge construction. But if you look a little bit to the side, you can get like a really nice picture, like for the view. So it depends. Like Instagram is not necessarily real. Like the pictures that I posted are for that specific
it's
cut.
definitely not real.
No, it's for that specific nice section. Let me see if I can, because I used it for another training because I wanted so people to see the difference. So I want to show you what I mean. I'm sure you understand what I mean, but just let me find it.
I think they mentioned.
I feel like it's like the very first hotel I ever booked in Paris. And then I got there and it was so tiny. And it was accurate. I mean, it was the place, but then I realized it was the angle and how they took the picture.
Right.
Yes, that's happened.
Do you see this picture? Let me see if I can.
I do.
Let me share. Right. So this is the picture.
Oh, wow.
But when I posted the picture, I only took this portion, like the one on the right. Let me see if I can find.
Oh, like you cropped out the other stuff?
Yeah, definitely.
Were you not honest to them that there's construction going by?
This is for me. This is for promote. If I need to sell it to a client, let me try to find. Then I will of course let them know, or we'll pick the other side.
Okay.
Let me find the other one. I just put it. Oh, here it is. Here's the second picture. You stop share. Right? So this is the picture.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, wow.
It's the same picture.
Oh my gosh.
It's the same exact picture. right? Amazing view from my room. But it's not.
Yes,
It's not. It's
View to
Instagram.
the
It's
right.
Facebook. It's not real.
it's not
So
real.
yeah, so people need to understand it. So when they're saying Instagram and whatever, also kind of like, I can find a really good Instagram picture at the Holiday Inn in Aruba versus, staying in the suite and at the Hyatt or, one of the
Mm.
others, the Ritz. It's
So
just-
not go so much by that. Go maybe more by properties that they have stayed at before could give me a better clue of what kind of properties they're looking at. Instead of just saying like, oh, because everybody wants Instagram now. Everybody wants all their pictures to look Instagram worthy,
Yeah. But they need to understand that they'll find some Instagram pictures even in a Rio, right? Even in because Rio is not normally, that's not something that I sell a lot. But for example, you can find an Instagram picture even when the view has this construction site. But it is a really nice construction. It's going to be the St. Regis. So eventually it's going to look nice.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Okay. So again, with marketing, if you are not selling right now, if you have an hour or 2 or 5 available throughout the week, you need to market. You need to post on social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, create videos, take some pictures, create videos, take some supplier videos.
Yeah.
Videos sell a lot. Pictures sell as well. Text, videos sell the best. If you're selling cruises right now and you can do some sort of a co-op, reach out to Norwegian. Again, they're doing 100% co-op. If you're looking to maybe promote something on Royal, let me know. I can probably get them to get some co-op for it. We can come up with
I actually have a client right now that they're looking for a last minute trip in June on Royal Caribbean.
Right, but this is sales. We're talking about marketing. We're trying to get people.
Yeah, this is already a sale.
This is already in the sales cycle. They already reached out. The marketing is when I'm tapped out, like I don't have anything right now that I'm actually working on right now.
Yeah.
I push, I promote.
You promote.
Can be part of your goals, can be part of your, I need to get at least 2 new people who reach out to me this week or today.
Okay.
Like, it really depends on what your goals are. And then again, there's always, but I would start there. I would start with the free Facebook, Instagram. I would start with email blasts, whether it's from Monarch or with another company that you're already using.
Mhm.
And then if you already tried that and you're ready to take it to the next level, then paid and co-ops and every door direct mail, create some sort of a piece. You could send out, I've done every door direct mail.
I'm sorry. So the co-ops, like they help you with, is that like with external marketing? So not
the co-ops. I mean, co-op is, they will, whatever you are thinking of using money to promote their product, they will give you a percentage. Specifically right now, again, they're offering up to 100% for $500, 100%. So if you're going to spend $1,000, they're going to give you 50%. But if you're going to, spend $300 on a Facebook marketing plan, or maybe print something and put it in a mailbox of people, whatever your idea would be, that it's not just to burn the money, right? The goal is to actually make a sale or 2 and then maybe continue investing.
Okay. All right. So they'll help me with my, like basically
most of the things that
subsidizing
they will do,
some of my marketing.
Most of the things that they will do is paid ads on Facebook. You can spend a little bit of money if you want in Fiverr, like someone who will create a nice piece for you for like maybe $10. Or if you're okay with Canva or something like that, you can create your own piece and just put it on Facebook, target people around you in specific demographics, specific ages, specific something. And again, try and sell a specific group, a specific, if you have school breaks on that specific date, or that's what you're promoting, then you're looking for people in their 35 to 45 because you need people with, that age of kids, in that demographics.
Mhm.
Only married, only men, only women, only something. The more targeted it is, the more effective it would be. Target a zip code, target an area, because if not, you're going to get people from India, Nigeria, Russia liking your post, whatever, and you're going to end up, every time someone interacts with a paid ad, costs you money. So if someone that is not relevant liked your post, you just lost money.
Okay.
So you want to be really, really targeted on an ad. Age group, demographics, geographic area, everything, and just try it. Try $20, try 50, try 100, and see how it goes. But only do it if you have a paid co-op, because otherwise, if not, and you haven't tapped your market right now, your people, your circle, you don't need to go to paid ads. I'm
Okay.
only mentioning it now because they're offering co-op.
I get it. I get it.
But
Thanks.
create your database, create your Excel with all the information. Everyone who ever sent you an email, put them on the list. Go back to your Gmail, look at 5 years back. Everyone who wrote you an email, they go on the list. And then with Monarch, they can unsubscribe. So if hopefully on your system, they can unsubscribe too. You
Yeah,
don't want to
they
spam
can.
them. You send them out once, you give them the option to unsubscribe if they want, and you're good. Because otherwise you're breaking the law because you're spamming them. Okay.
Thanks. This is really helpful.
Any questions?
I do. I have one last question.
Go ahead.
What do you recommend, for the average travel agent? I don't know if there's such a thing as a travel average travel agent. How many trips a year do you feel are good for marketing amount? Like that it's not an excessive amount
For
but
you to travel or for you to sell?
For you to travel so you can sell, and then you can do site visitations and then put it up like what you did with this fam right now, and then you're getting all this return in it.
You need to have the audience. You need to see that you're actually, you have the clientele. Let's say you don't, and you're just the beginning.
Yeah.
I would start with 1-2 a year. You don't need to do more. And if you're traveling with your family, one of them, that's perfect. Take one day off from family and do it as a business trip. That specific day, set site inspections. You can also write off that trip later as a business expense because you've had 4 or 5 meetings, even if it's, so I would start with 1-2, see the return.
Okay.
I'm doing about 1 to 2 a month. So,
Wow.
But
you've been this over 25 years. So
I mean, I started.
Yeah, I was like, I'm just
traveling-
starting. My list is small.
I started traveling consistently when my kids got a little older. So I would say in the last 5 years, I started traveling more. Before I didn't really have the option because, my wife is working. I can't really go away. We didn't have, aftercare or whatever, but start with something. But we did our trips. We did 1 trip, maybe 2 trips a year. And then I would use that and post, and then maybe do an inaugural, 1 night, 2 nights, a really cheap, I used to do ship inspections in our area. It doesn't really matter what, right? But it has to be something that you're selling. If you're going to Washington and promoting that, okay. But it needs to be something that you're actually selling.
Oh, that's a great question. because I was wondering, you know how Europe is like my area that I really hope to get into that niche. And eventually, I mean, I'll do right now I'm in the beginning, I'll do anything, okay? But I would love to eventually get into the niche of, you know, like tailor-made Europe trips. So you feel like if I'm gonna invest on something, like even if it's once a year, for marketing for my, it should be instead of going to an AI, it should really be like somewhere that I can.
Yeah, if I get a invitation to something that I don't sell, it's most like I'm not going unless it's like, oh, Antarctica, like I don't know, Galapagos or something that I don't necessarily sell, but maybe have the potential.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I would love to see and maybe go. But in general, if I get a a destination that I don't really sell, I don't have that interest to go. It's not just the money to get there; it's the time spent, and it's technically a little bit of a waste of time. So I wouldn't go to a place that I'm not actively selling.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do tons of great information.
Awesome.